If Trump had been in charge during World War II, this column would have been in German. Hi, I'm Scott Ott, and this is Bill Whittle Now. And Bill, that's the headline over a column by Max Boot at the Washington Post. Not that that would surprise you, given what Max has said in the past about President Trump. No fan of Trump is Boot. But he does this kind of detailed, somewhat satirical, but not entirely analysis. And I'll give you a sample of this. And we're going to try to keep this crisp because I know we've been over all the details in 75 episodes about the COVID-19 virus. But just I want to address some of these things because I know that despite the fact that you will reject this out of hand, that there are many in this country who for some reason think that Max Boot has a point here. He says this, I'll give you a paragraph. Picture the scene a few months after Pearl Harbor. The first U.S. troops have arrived in England and the Doolittle Raiders have bombed Tokyo. But even though the war has just begun, the Trumpified FDR, he's saying, what if FDR were like Trump? The Trumpified FDR is already losing interest. One day he says the war is already won. The next day that we will just have to accept the occupation of France because that's the way that life is. He speculates that mobilization might be unnecessary if we can develop a death ray straight out of Buck Rogers' comic strip. He complains that rationing and curfews are very unpopular and will have to end soon. He tells the governors that if they want to keep on fighting, they'll have to take charge of manufacturing ships, tanks, and aircraft. Trumpy FDR prefers to hold mass rallies to berate his predecessor, Herbert Hoover. He even suggests that Hoover belongs in jail along with the leading Republican congressman. And that's just the beginning. Bill, how's it going so far?
What was the date he assigned to this?
What do you mean, the date of the column or the?
No, the date of Trumpy FDR. At the very beginning, you said, when was this?
No, the overall scope, there's no specific date pinned to it, but it's just saying.
He just said, no, but he just said the Doolittle raid had ended right and American troops were
Yes, I knew you were going to
England.
go after the historical accuracy of the sequence of events there. But let's just take the overall point of what he's saying, that if FDR were like President Trump, here's how.
No, I understand. I'm trying to compute an answer based on his time scale.
Post Pearl Harbor, anyway.
So post Pearl Harbor and the Doolittle raid has happened. American troops are arriving. The newspapers are accusing Trumpy FDR of dithering and waiting for a death ray. And then 2.5 months later, in mid to late 1942, the United States develops the atomic bomb and basically puts an end to the war 3.5 years and 40 million casualties earlier because he employs the private sector to do the work that should have been done by the private sector instead of spending an enormous amount of time and money on a government sort of a solution to problems. So while the Washington Post is berating the President of the United States during his wartime performance and making sure that the President of the United States during wartime doesn't have a moment's pause or breath of criticism or anything else, while all of this is going on, and by the way, while Trumpy FDR is coming off of a 3-year impeachment hearing about collusion with the British, which turns out not to have any influence or any truth in it whatsoever, promoted by magazines and rags like the Washington Post, despite those distractions, nevertheless, he still manages to bring the private sector into World War II and win it in the end of 1942. And despite the fact that he's beaten real FDR by pretty much 3 years and God knows how many casualties, he nevertheless deserves nothing but blame for that. And all of the credit for winning World War II in 1942 will go to Herbert Hoover.
Well, it seems that Max Boot thinks that President Trump has not only been chaotic in his approach to things and changing from day to day what he says about it, but he has a hard time focusing on anything. It says he says FDR kind of transformed himself from Dr. New Deal into Dr. Win the War, but Trump, by contrast, can't focus on a single subject for the length of a paragraph. So it's no surprise that he's already gotten bored with the war against the coronavirus that isn't going his way. And he's taking his cues not from FDR, but from Senator George Aiken, the Vermont Republican, whose plan for the Vietnam War was summed up as declare victory and get out.
You know, Mr. Boot could just go F himself. That's about all I have to say on this one. Honestly, for somebody for a member of the profession that has gone along with, cooperated with, been an integral part of the overall 3-year coup against the elected government of the United States. In other words, if you want to take this Boot analogy to its logical conclusions, Mr. Boot, an operative of the Herbert Hoover administration, continues his criticism of Trumpy FDR because he is complicit, along with the Herbert Hoover administration, Trump's predecessor, in spying on Trumpy FDR, in creating a situation of absolutely no material proof whatsoever in order to destroy his presidency, and is fervently praying, not that the war will be over and that Americans will be speaking German, but that we'll be speaking Russian. That's who this guy is. And if he wants to maintain a historical fantasy with me, he's picked the wrong guy to do it. If he is actually trying to say that Trump is blowing the response to COVID-19 when FDR got down and focused, it might have something to do with the fact that FDR had the untrammeled support, the uncompromised support, the absolute total across-the-board support of all of the news media in this country from start to finish, and Donald Trump has not had a chance to loosen his tie since he's been president. So Matt Boot can just go F himself. I don't usually respond to this kind of a segment in that manner, but sometimes that's about all you're left with. I really think that's about all you're left with.
Max would argue that the president hasn't done anything to engender that kind of unified support from the media or the American public.
And when has he had a chance to develop that kind of support? Would it be 2 days or 3 days after his election and months before his inauguration, at which point Herbert Hoover's successor, who lost the election to FDR, let's just say Dewey for the sake of the argument, immediately upon his loss, 2 days after his loss, the Republican challenger to FDR, 2 days after his loss, says that the reason he lost was because FDR was colluding with Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. Is that why he hasn't engendered the kind of national unity that this idiot D-bag is calling for? When you start to rewrite history in a way like this, you start to make me exceedingly angry. I know it doesn't show or anything because I'm such a good master of hiding my emotions. But let me tell you something. This kind of thing is a perfect example of exactly precisely why this press is an enemy of the American people and has been since at least the George W. Bush administration. This kind of thing is designed to do nothing but sow discord and do all of the things that if it happened in World War II, people like Max Boot would have been taken out and basically, well, to take an example of his beloved FDR, I think the very best thing that would have happened to Max Boot, and I mean the best thing that would have happened to him under an FDR administration, would have been he would have been sent to one of the quarantine camps and the isolation camps and so on that FDR built out in the middle of the California desert for Japanese American citizens. So he can take this, and you know what he can do with it. It is an infantile, childish, adolescent, absurd, ridiculous, and more than anything, it is an indication of just precisely how venal, evil, stupid, and traitorous this modern day press is. You want to bring World War II into this? Max, you want to bring World War II into this? You want to bring presidential activities during World War II into this? Why don't we talk about the role of the press in World War II? Why don't we talk about that? I think that would be an excellent subject for us to talk about. Max, you miserable, low-life hack, partisan swine traitor, son of a bitch.
And perhaps that'll be a subject for another episode of Bill Whittle Now. For now, we're grateful to the members of Bill Whittle Now who have funded this enterprise and made it possible for us to react to, in real time practically, to the progressive narrative in the mainstream media and elsewhere. Our members have access to backstage content at the website as well as interactive features of the site that allow them to communicate with one another, and both on a group level and a personal level. If you've not yet found your people, it's time to go to BillWhittle.com and click that big green Become a Member button. We'd also like to thank our friends over at the Patriot Post who are providing you with two free things. Number one, an email that you'll get on a daily basis that will notify you of the new commentary or even the hilarious memes at the Patriot Post, as well as when you sign up for that email system, you'll get a free copy of the Patriots Primer on American Liberty. We'll provide a link in the description below. For Bill
Max
Whittle,
Boot makes Max Boot. I just have to get this said. Max Boot makes Joseph Goebbels look like Ernie Pyle. If you want a historical analogy, Max, there you go. Look it up.
And for Bill Whittle, I'm Scott Ott. Thanks for watching.